The Fifth Agreement, A Practical Guide to Self-Mastery by Don Miguel Ruiz and John Jules Ruiz, read by Avicenna. The story of you, the first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. For thousands of years, humans have tried to understand the universe nature and mainly human nature. It's amazing to observe humans in action all around the world, in all of the different places and cultures that exist on this beautiful planet Earth. Humans make a lot of effort to understand, but in doing so, we also make a lot of assumptions. As artists, we distort the truth and create the most amazing theories. We create entire philosophies and the most amazing religions. We create stories and superstitions about everything amazing. Yeah, including ourselves. And this is exactly the main point. We create them. Humans are born with the power of creation, and we are constantly creating stories with the words that we learn. Every one of us uses the word to form our opinions, to express our point of view. Countless events are happening all around us, and using the attention, we have the capacity to put all these events together in a story. We create the story of our own life, the story of our family, the story of our community, the story of our country, the story of humanity, and the story of the entire world. Every one of us has a story that we share, a message that we deliver to ourselves and to everyone and everything around us. You are programmed to deliver a message, and the creation of that message is your greatest art. What is the message? Your life. With that message, you create mainly the story of you and then a story about everything you perceive. You create an entire virtual reality in your mind and you live in that reality. When you think, you are thinking in your language. You are repeating in your mind all the symbols that mean something to you. You are giving yourself the message, and the message is the truth for you because you believe that it's the truth. The story of you is everything that you know about you, and when I say this, I'm talking to you knowledge, what you believe you are, not to you, the human, what you really are. As you can see, I make a distinction between you and you because one of you is real and one of you is not real. You, the physical human, are real. You are the truth. You, knowledge, you are not real. You are virtual. You only exist because of the agreements you made with yourself and with the other humans around you. You, knowledge, come from the symbols you hear in your head from all the opinion of the people you love, the people you don't love, the people you know, and mostly the people you'll never know. Who is talking in your head? You make the assumption that it's you, but if you are the one who's talking, then who is listening? You, knowledge, are the one who is talking in your head, telling you what you are. You, the human, are listening, but you, the human, existed long before you had the knowledge. You existed long before you understood all the symbols, before you learned to speak, and just like any child, before he or she learns to speak. You were completely authentic. You didn't pretend to be what you are not without even knowing it. You trusted yourself completely. You loved yourself completely before you learned knowledge. You were totally free to be what you really are because all these opinion and stories from the other humans were not in your head already. Your mind is full of knowledge, but how are you using that knowledge? How are you using the word when it comes to describing yourself? When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you like what you see, or do you judge your body and use all the symbols to tell yourself lies? Is it really true that you are too short or too tall, too heavy or too thin? Is it really true that you are not beautiful? Is it really true that you're not perfect just the way you are? Can you see all the judgment that you have about yourself? Every judgment is just an opinion. It is a point of view, and that point of view is not there when you were born. Everything you think about yourself, everything you believe about yourself is because you learn it. You learn the opinions from mom, dad, siblings, society. They send all those images of how a body should look. They express all those opinions about the way you are, the way you are not, and the way you should be. They deliver the message, and you agreed with that message. And now you think you so many things about what you are, but are they the truth? You see, the problem is not really knowledge. The problem is believing in the distortion of knowledge, and that is what we call a lie. What is the truth and what is the lie? What is real and what is virtual? Can you see the difference? Or do you believe that voice in your head every time it speaks and distorts the truth without assuring you that what you believe is the way things really are? Is it really true that you're not a good human and that you will never be good enough? Is it really true that you don't deserve to be happy? Is it really true that you're not worthy of love? Remember, when a tree was no longer just a tree, once you learn a language, you interpret a tree and judge a tree according to everything that you know. That's when a tree becomes a beautiful tree, the ugly tree, the scary tree, the wonderful tree. Well, you do the same thing with yourself. You interpret yourself and judge yourself according to everything that you know. That's when you become the good human, the bad human, the guilty one, the crazy one, the powerful one, the weak one, the beautiful one, and the ugly one. You are what you believe you are. Then the first question is, what do you believe you are? Yeah, what do you believe you are? If you use your awareness, you will see everything you believe, and this is how you'll live your life. Your life is totally dominated by the system of beliefs that you learn. Whatever you believe is creating the story that you are experiencing. Whatever you believe is creating the emotions that you are experiencing. And you may really want to believe that you are what you believe, but the image is completely false. It's not you. The real you is unique and is beyond everything that you know, because the real you is the truth. You, the human, are the truth. Your physical presence is real. What you believe about yourself is not real, and it's not important unless you want to create a better story for yourself. Truth or fiction, either way, the story that you're creating is a work of art. It's a wonderful story, a beautiful story, but it's just a story, and it's as close to truth as you can get by using symbols. And as an artist, there is no right or wrong way to create your art. There is just beauty, and there is not beauty, and there is happiness, and there is not happiness. If you believe yourself to be an artist, then everything becomes possible again. Words are your paintbrush, and your life is the canvas. You can paint whatever you want to paint. You can even copy another artist's work, but what you express with your paintbrush is the way you see yourself, the way you see the entire reality. What you paint is your life, and how it looks will depend on how you are using the word. When you realize this, it may daunt you that the word is a powerful tool for creation. When you learn to use that tool with awareness, you can make a story with the word. What is story? Your life's story, of course, the story of you. The first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. This brings us to the first and most important of four agreements. Be impeccable with your word. The word is your power of creation, and that power can be used in more than one direction. One direction is impeccably, where the word creates a beautiful story, your personal heaven on earth. The other direction is misuse of the word, where the word destroys everything around you and creates your personal hell. The word, as a symbol, has the magic and power of creation because it can reproduce an image, an idea, a feeling, or an entire story in your imagination. Just hearing the word horse can reproduce an entire image in your mind. That's the power of symbol. But it can even be more powerful than that. Just by saying the words, the Godfather, a whole movie can appear in your mind. This is your magic, your power of creation, and it begins with the word. Perhaps you can understand why the Bible says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." According to many religions, in the beginning nothing existed, and the very first thing that God created was the messenger and the angel who delivers the message. You may understand the need for something that could transfer information from one place to another place. Of course, From nowhere to nowhere seems a little complicated, but it's very simple at the same time. In the very beginning, God created the Word, and the Word is a messenger. Then, if God created the Word to deliver a message, and if the Word is a messenger, then that is what you are, a messenger, an angel. The word exists because of a force that we call life, intent, or God. The word is the force, it is intent, and that's why our intent manifests through the word no matter what language we speak. The word is so important in the creation of everything because the messengers start to deliver messages and the entire creation appears out of nowhere. Remember, God and Adam talking and walking together, God creates reality and we create reality with the word. The virtual reality that we create is a reflection of reality. It's our interpretation of reality by use of the word. Nothing can exist without the word because of the word is what we use to create everything that we know. If you notice, I'm challenging you all the symbol on purpose. So you can see that the different expressions mean the exact same thing. The symbols can change, but the meaning is the same in all the different traditions around the world. If you listen to the intent behind the symbol, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Impeccably of word is so important because the word is you, this messenger. The word is all about the message you deliver, not just to everyone and everything around you, but the message you deliver to yourself. You are telling yourself a story, but is it the truth? If you are using the word to create a story with your self-judgment and self-rejection, then you are using the word against yourself and you're not being impeccable. When you are impeccable, you're not going to tell yourself, I'm old, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm never going to make it in my life. You're not going to use your knowledge against yourself, which means your voice of knowledge is not going to use the word to judge you, find you guilty, and punish you. Your mind is so powerful that it perceives the story that you create. If you create self-judgment, you create inner conflict that's nothing but a nightmare. Your happiness is up to you, and it depends on how you use the word. If you get angry and use the word to send emotional poison to someone else, it appears that you are using the word against that person, but you are really using the word against yourself. That action is going to create a like reaction. That person is going to go against you. If you insult someone, that person may even harm you in response. If you use the word to create a conflict in which your body may be injured, of course, it's against you. Being impeccable with your word really means never use the power of the word against yourself. When you are impeccable with your words, you never betray yourself. You never use the word to gossip about yourself or to spread emotional poison by gossiping about other people. Gossiping is the main form of communication in human society. And we learn how to gossip about agreement. Yeah. When we are children, we hear the adults around us gossiping about themselves and giving their opinion about other people, including people they don't even know. But now you are aware that our opinions are not the truth, they are just a point of view. Remember, you're the creator of your own life story. If you use the word impeccably, just imagine the story that you are going to create for yourself. You're going to use the word in the direction of truth and love for yourself. You are going to use the word to express the truth in every thought, in every action, in every word you use to describe yourself, to describe your own life story, and what will be the result. An extraordinarily beautiful life. In other words, you are going to be happy. As you can see, impeccability of the word goes much deeper than it seems. The word is pure magic, and when you adopt the first agreement, magic is happening in your life. Your intention and desire come easily because there is no resistance, there is no fear, there is only love. You are at peace and you create a life of freedom and fulfillment in every way. Just this one agreement is not enough to completely transform your life into your personal heaven. Always be aware of how you are using the word and be impeccable with your word. Every mind is a world. The second agreement. Do not take anything personally. When we are born, there are no symbols in our mind, but we have a brain and we have eyes, and our brain is already capturing images that come from light. We start perceiving light, we become familiar with light, and the reaction of our brain to light is an endless play of images in our imagination, in our mind. We are dreaming from the Toltec point of view. Our whole life is a dream because the brain is programmed to dream 24 hours a day. When the brain is awake, there is a material frame that makes us perceive things in a linear way. When the brain is asleep, there is no frame and the Dream has the tendency to change constantly. Even with the brain awake, we have the tendency to daydream, and the dream is constantly changing. The imagination is so powerful that it takes us to many places. We see things in our imagination that other people do not see. We hear things that other people do not hear, or maybe we don't, depending on the way we dream. Imagination gives moment to the images we see, but the images only exist in the mind, in the dream. Light, images, imagination, dreaming. You are dreaming right now, and this is something that you can easily verify. Perhaps you never noticed that your mind is always dreaming, but if you use your imagination for just a moment, you will understand what I'm trying to explain to you. Imagine that you are looking into a mirror. Inside the mirror is a whole world of objects, but you know that what you see is just a reflection of what is real. It looks like it's real, it looks like the truth, but it's not real and it's not the truth. If you try to touch the object inside the mirror, you only touch the surface of the mirror. What you see inside the mirror is just an image of reality, which means it's a virtual reality. It's a dream. And it's the same kind of dream that you dream with the brain awake. Why? Because what you see inside the mirror is the copy of reality that you create with the capacity of your eyes and your brain as an image of the world that you construct with your mind, which means it's how your own mind perceives reality. What the dog sees in the mirror is how the dog's brain perceives reality. What an eagle sees in the same mirror is how the eagle's brain perceives reality, and it's different from your own. Now, imagine looking into your eyes instead of a mirror. Your eyes perceive lights that's being reflected from millions of objects outside of your eyes. The sun sends lights all around the world, and every object reflects light. Billions of rays of light come from everywhere, go inside your eyes and project images of objects in your eyes. You think you are seeing all these objects, but the only thing you are really seeing is the light that being reflected. Everything you perceive is a reflection of what is real, just like the reflection in a mirror, except for one important difference. Behind the mirror, there's nothing. But behind your eyes is a brain that tries to make the sense of everything. Your brain is interpreting everything you perceive according to the meaning you give to every symbol, according to the structure of your language, according to all of the knowledge that was programmed in your mind. Everything you perceive is being filtered through your entire belief system, and the result of interpreting everything you perceive by you seeing everything you believe is your personal dream. This is how you create an entire virtual reality in your mind. Perhaps you can see how easy it is for humans to distort what we perceive. Light reproduces a perfect image of what is real, but we distort the image by creating a story with all those symbols and opinions that we learn. We dream about it with our imagination, and by agreement we think that our dream is absolute truth, when the real truth is that our dream is a relative truth, a reflection of the truth that is always going to be distorted by all the knowledge we have stored in our memory. Many masters have said that every mind is a world, and it's true. It's true. The world we think we see outside of us is actually inside of us. It's just images in our imagination. It's a dream. We are dreaming constantly, and this has been known for centuries, not only in Mexico by the Toltec, but in Greece, in Rome, India, Egypt. People all over the world have said life is a dream, and the question is, are we aware of it? When we are not aware what our mind is always dreaming, it's easy to blame everyone and everything outside of us for all of this distortion in our personal dream, for anything that makes us suffer in life. When we become aware that we are living in a dream that we artists are creating, we take a big step in our own evolution, because now we can take responsibility for our creation, to realize that our mind is always dreaming. Gives us the key to changing our dream if we are not enjoying it. Who is dreaming the story of your life? You are. If you don't like your life, if you don't like what you believe about yourself, you are the only one who can change it. It's your world, it's your dream. If you're enjoying your dream, that's wonderful, then continue to enjoy each and every moment. If your dream is a nightmare, if there is a trauma and suffering, you're not enjoying your creation, then you can change it. As I am sure you are aware, There are millions of books in this world written by millions of dreamers with different point of view. The story of you is as interesting as any of those books. And it's even more interesting because the story continues to change. The way you dream when you are 10 years old is completely different from the way you dream when you are 15 or when you are 20, 30, 40, or the way you dream now. The story you are dreaming today is not the same story that you were dreaming yesterday or even half an hour ago. Every time you talk about your story, it changes depending on who you are telling the story to, depending on your physical and emotional state at the time, depending on your belief at the time. Even if you try to tell the same story, your story is always changing at a certain point, and you find out that it's nothing but a story. It is not reality. It's a virtual reality. It's nothing but a dream, and it's shared dream because all humans are dreaming at the same time. The shared dream of humanity, the dream of the planet, was there for you before you were born, and this is how you learn to create your own art, the story of you. Let's take an agreement, don't take anything personally. Let's use the power of our imagination to create a dream together. Knowing that it's a dream, imagine that you're in a gigantic mall where there are hundreds of movie theaters. You look around to see what's playing and you notice a movie that has your name. Amazing. You go inside the theater and it's empty except for one person, very quietly, trying not to interrupt. You sit behind the person who does not even notice you. All that person's attention is one of the movie. You look at the screen. What's a big surprise? You recognize every character in the movie. Your mother, your father, your brothers, your sister, your beloved, your children, your friends, and that. Then you see the main character of the movie, and that is you. You are the star of the movie, and it's the story of you. And that person in front of you, well, it's also you watching yourself in act of the movie. Of course, the main character is just the way you believe you are. So are all the secondary characters because you know the story of you. After a while, you feel a little overwhelmed, but everything is just witness, and you decide to go to another theater. And in this theater, there is also just one person watching in the movie, and she doesn't even notice when you sit beside her. You start watching the movie and you recognize all the character, but now you are just a secondary character, and this is the story of your mother's life, and she is the one who is watching the movie with all her attention. Then you realize that your mother is not the same person who was in your movie. The way she projects herself is completely different in her movie. It's a way your mother was wants everyone to perceive her. You know that is not authentic. She's acting, but then you begin to realize that it's the way she perceives herself, and it's kind of a shock. Then you notice the character was your face is not the same person who was in your movie. You say to yourself, this is not me. But now you can see how your mother perceives you, what she believes about you, and it's far from what you believe about yourself. Then you see the character of your father, the way your mother perceives him, and it's not all the way you perceive him. It's completely distorted, and so is her perception of all the other characters. You see the way your mother perceives your beloved, and you even get a little upset with your mom. How dare she? You stand up